Near the Washington Park playground in Bellevue, you'll notice something new. At first glance, you'll see a sculpture of some sorts, but as you get closer, you'll realize it's a tree carving.
I thought it would be good to have a useful purpose for them, and what better purpose than a sculpture?
Ash trees usually decay because of drought or because of a tree-eating bug known as emerald ash borer. Councilman Don Preister with Bellevue isn't sure if either is the reason these trees died.
These were old, they were hollowed out. What caused them to be hollow, I couldn't tell you. Once they were dead and falling on people, it wasn't a matter of what caused it as much as we got to make it safe for people.
Now there's a new face to one of these trees.
I was hoping for something easy, but we didn't end up with that, but it turned out good.
Scott Priest is behind the carvings. This took him 2 years to complete. What inspired you to put the little girl looking at the female police officer?
To get young women to look up to the police women and maybe follow in their footsteps.
It's a representation of the inclusivity Bellevue's first responders hold, as they actively try to recruit more females.
In Bellevue, the first responders have the people's backs, and they have each other's backs.
That's why you'll also notice the police officer and the first responder carved back to back.
While we're at home resting or wherever we may be, those first responders are out on the call, on duty, looking out for us.
And just like first responders are looking out for the community, Priest is doing the same through his work.
I've been thanked 1,000 times by people coming through here. Yeah, it's just great, yeah, what people say.
You're probably wondering what the next tree carving will be. Well, Scott Priest plans to transform this tree right here into a service member and a medic, but he won't start until the spring, so be on the lookout if you're near Washington Park. On your side in Bellevue, Johan Marin, 6 News. The red kettles are once again popping up across the metro.
Good afternoon, sir.
And this year, the Salvation Army expects the need will be bigger than in previous years.
We do anticipate an increase in some of our programmings, like for instance, Winter Night Watch. Last year we saw a 10% increase in food distribution and a 50% increase in our winter clothing.
Good afternoon, sir.
That's why they rely on their volunteers to encourage people to give. And those like Ralph Marsh are already doing their part.
So I don't have the money to give money, but I volunteer, so it's like I'm giving my time to help others.
This holiday season, you can give back in several ways, either by cash, through your mobile device, or, new this year, with your credit card.
We have a new program called the Tap to Give program. The Tap to Give is making it very easy for those of us that aren't carrying cash. You can just go up to one of our Tap to Give locations, and you can either tap for a donation of $5 or $10 or $20.
The Salvation Army is in the process of putting their Tap to Give option on each red kettle in the metro. The idea was brought up after installing their QR code contactless pay several years ago.
The Salvation Army is trying to keep up with the trend of just being a cashless society.
But for the Salvation Army and their volunteers, it isn't just about giving, but making a difference in the community.
Well, I look forward to it all year long because I enjoy it. It's the time of year I get out and meet the people and the little ones.
On your side, in La Vista, Johan Marin, 6 News. Here at the Latino Center of the Midlands, the goal is to always help the Latino community.
Latino Center of the Midlands, this is Elizabeth Hermosillo.
But also provide a space for students and those of low income to learn and grow.
In college, it was very hard for me to reach out to advisors, mentors, people in my scholarship program. I felt like because I didn't see the same people like myself in there, I couldn't talk to them because they couldn't relate to my issues.
As a development specialist for the center, it's different now for Lisbeth Imorcillo Najar. She works closely with the community and tackles all things related to video, computers, and media.
At the Latino Center, they really helped me dive into these programs, really learn them in and out.
Hermosillo Najar started as a student intern 2 years ago. At the time, she didn't know much about technology. She blames the lack of resources and tech access she had in school.
So it is more difficult to reach out because of that, and also, like I said, underfunded schools, you don't have that same mentorship.
It's an issue a good portion of students in South Omaha face. Nowadays, a majority of schools require laptops to do homework.
The digital divide that impacts South Omaha, I think, is substantial, because when you think of digital divide, once you improve your digital awareness, you're able to have better grip on things like education and healthcare.
Albert Varas, the CEO of the Latino Center of the Midlands, hopes their Siembra Medios internship program will help bridge the digital divide gap by providing students with real-life experience. It will teach the students interested in tech the ropes of media. Whether that's learning how to use a camera or a laptop, Lisbeth says that the opportunity is there. But most importantly, she wants to provide a safe space for those who come to learn.
Getting them into a more creative field, and that there is that accessibility, there is places for them, positions for them, and they have a place for that, for themselves in that career.
On your side, Johan Marin, 6 News.